welcome everybody. Thank you very much for coming to the MAC Centre and the Muslim Association of Canada, based on Kingsway near Victoria Drive in Vancouver. Its mission to really be part of society, be with youth initiatives and other social services to help the community. And so in collaboration with other Muslim organizations like the Muslim Care Center, the Muslim Food Bank, Aspire, and Islam Unraveled, MAC is graciously hosting this very important program, which is Yo Bro, Yo Girl, YBYG, which is almost a 12-year-old program that we interviewed Joe Calandino and Ari Aziz, who's part of the operational team. So that was the boys' interview. Now this is the girls and ladies' interview to basically talk about the impact that the work that YBYG has done to impact women and to empower young women with necessary skills, not only personal skills, but physically having skills to be able to protect themselves in the event of any negative thing arising. So that being the case, thank you very much for joining us. We have Harneet, who's one of the key team members with YBYG. So Harneet, if you wouldn't mind introducing YBYG, what the mandate, the mission of the organization is, your role, and how you personally got involved in and what YBYG has done for you.
So Yo Bro, Yo Girl Youth Initiative is centered around preventing drugs, gangs, and violence within youth and keeping them engaged within their communities. We're a very versatile program. We run a number of different programs. We're talking about the women's section of our program, so our female self-defense programs, No Means No. Irene's going to touch on that a little bit later. I personally facilitate a program with Wahiba right now here at MAC, and we do a program on Fridays, and we have a women's self-defense program all around women empowerment, building up their confidence, giving them the skills that helping them achieve the skills that they need to be able to defend themselves, and that goes a super long way because just empowering them and helping them feel confident walking around. Say you're walking down the street alone by yourself, or if there's two females, and it's obviously a little bit of a nerve-wracking thing, especially in the day and age that we live in right now. So personally, helping someone feel confident that they know exactly what to do in an unsafe situation, and that they would be able to defend themselves and help themselves get out of a situation. They don't need to depend on someone else for that. That's a huge thing, and that's such a confidence booster. So that's kind of what we try to do to help build up everybody's confidence. I personally have been with the organization for about 6, almost 7 years now, and I started out as a participant, and I was promised free food, learning martial arts, how to defend myself, and I get to cut class, So those were 3 pretty big things for me back when I was in grade 10, and I joined the program, met Joe, and I remember this experience that I had with him the first time I met him, and he was running a session, and it was a co-ed session, so it was females and males, everybody was there, and I think there was about 15 of us, and we were all new to the program first day, and Joe's like, yeah, so he's super nice, super accommodating, and then he's like, if you need to take a break during the workout, feel free to. You don't need to, no issue, go ahead, take a breather, go get a glass of water. So we're working out, doing push-ups, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a break now, Even though I didn't really need it, I'm like, okay, this is enough, I'll take a break. And all of a sudden, Joe comes around, he's like, what are you doing? 10 push-ups, let's go! And we're not like that with everyone, obviously, but just discipline and being able to get that kind of someone's pushing you to move forward. I could have totally done 30 push-ups, modified of course, but I could have done 30, I stopped at 10. And here I have Joe telling me, no, keep going, you can keep going. And so I do keep going. So I learned that day what it really means to not just stop and kind of go as far as you can and
limit yourself.
Yeah, limit yourself with it. So I learned a lot from that one experience, learning how to limit yourself, going further than you think you can, within limits still. And yeah, so that was my first day with Joe, and then all of a sudden I seen more about what the program was about. It's everybody feels like family here, feeling included, and feeling like you have these people want you around. You know, they want to hang out with you. They want to go do positive things with you, eat. They want to break bed with you. They want to. We always go out and do different activities. We'll be going like once a month. I think we do like team building activities, and we will be going go-karting, on hikes, like different things, just so we have something to do, because that's kind of the biggest part. That's what I've been looking for. You know, I'm in grade 10, looking for friends, looking for something to do. I have school, and then I need other things to be keeping myself busy with. So that's kind of how I got involved with the program. Started out as a participant, and then slowly started going to programs. I started out going once a week. It wasn't enough, so I started going to other programs because I'm from Wally area, and the rest of these girls, how I met them was I went to a different program. I used to bus after school every Friday to go to their school, so I'd be a part of their program there, and that's how I know all of these fine young women here, and
it fostered this sense of sisterhood and community and
Yes.
friendship and love in a positive environment, which I think Joe, from what I've seen as a leader, is committed. He's committed to his team, he's committed to you guys, and he just wants the best for you guys, and he's trying to give you tools and strategies to help you guys become better. And exactly what you said, to push you beyond where you think is your limit, to say that, hey, there's another level that he can see you can get to. So I from what I've seen, there's a passion all the way from the top, all the way throughout the team, that everyone is invested and everybody's getting better. Would that be correct?
100%. That's kind of what we do for each other. We learned it from Joe, who has played a big role in all of our lives, I think, especially the key team here. And now we're kind of going on to make impact in other people's life, just learning from Joe, you know. So Joe started out, and we see this guy who's super compassionate and just cares so much about every single person in that room and just wants to do good. So that kind of lights something within like all of us, and that's kind of, you know, you see someone doing good and you're like, wow, like, you know, like must feel so great. Like I want to do something. I want to help someone out. I want to be a mentor for someone. I want to be working outreach one-on-one with people. I want to be teaching them self-defense classes. That's kind of how we got here, you know. Learning martial arts from Joe, my coach, pushing me to do my best. Competing in tournaments with Zainab and Wahiba. That's what we used to do a few years ago. And now I'm in school. I go to PCIT for my accounting. I'm an accounting student there, and so things have calmed down a little bit. But before, we used to compete, and we used to be really active, and we still are now. So it's great to be, you know, still in school, and I'm still being able to work with such an amazing organization and being able to facilitate a program where I can help women gain confidence and empower them to just be confident in themselves and know that they're all they kind of need to they don't need to depend on other people for things. You can do it yourself, and you can kind of make your own way, right?
And the honesty, the integrity, the authenticity from Joe down to the team. This is really what everyone wants. Adults, young people, to be in an honest, respectful environment where everyone's appreciated, everyone's welcome, and everyone wants everybody else to get better. And I think this is the antidote for young people. As a teenager growing up, I didn't have this type of resource, and I can imagine as a young person to be with positive people like yourselves would have had a better impact on me. My daughter's actually your student, so she really enjoys it. You taught her some skills I hope she doesn't use on me. So I always tell her, don't use any of this stuff on me. So.
We tell them to practice within reason.
There's always a disclaimer in the beginning of it.
Within reason.
Yeah.
And so, Harneet, based on all of this work that you've done, just your personal experience, and what have you seen with your team, with people that you've seen younger than you, older than you, how the work you guys have done together has changed people's lives for the better?
I want to talk on actually like a specific memory that I have with someone, seeing someone who started out, was new to the country, and came in, two sisters actually, and they came into our program, and just seeing them, you know, really shy, really quiet, soft-spoken, not really, you know, just kind of observing, not really wanting to contribute at that point, and like to just like a discussion or whatever it may be, you know, kind of reserved. And then
They did know Taekwondo though.
yeah, they did know Taekwondo though. I'm talking about Wahiba here, Wahiba and her older sister, and seeing them grow from the organization, seeing them grow as someone who's so reserved, and you can tell that they're not actually, on the inside there's something else, right? So talking to them, seeing them every single day, building a relationship with them, building a connection, making them kind of feel safe, like they can be themselves, and making them feel confident, seeing that go like a crazy long way, like a little journey with them, you know? Big journey, actually, yeah. Seeing them grow from someone who's super reserved, and now she's her true self, and she's out here like doing interviews, and like she's growing up so much, maturing, and you know, she can probably beat up everybody in this room. So, you know, that, like things like that, like seeing specific interactions with one person that you have and seeing how they can contribute to changing that person's life is very rewarding, and it just makes you want to go out there and do that much more. You know, let me help someone else. Let me, like, you know, give them something to smile about, give them something to look forward to. And I think we all have that kind of sense, and it's just like a feeling like come join our family, you know? You're part of our family now, so yeah.
And on that note, Wahiba, it was actually, I think my wife discovered you at a program in Guildford. My wife teaches, I think, about 30 students in the Guildford area.
I think more.
More students, exactly. Yeah. And she mentioned, we're doing a self-defense program, and Sister Wahiba is going to be doing it. And really, at that time, I was like, great work, but I honestly, it only jogged the memory later, months later, when we had an incident that happened, and just how we're all even here together was one of our volunteers at the Muslim Care Center. So the Muslim Care Center is on Main and Hastings, in the middle of the opioid crisis. It's a location that we provide as the Muslim community to give food to the people that are in need, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion. Anybody's welcome. 5:30, 7 days a week. We've got food that's halal, that people can partake. And so she's one of our volunteers, 18 years old. Her background, she came from Syria as a refugee a few years back. She's an honor roll student, volunteering almost every other day or every day at the Muslim Care Center, giving food on the downtown east side. And this is a young, I think I met her when she was 17. And I asked her, what motivates you? Like, this is like to come to the downtown east side. If anyone hasn't been there, it is kind of frightening. Even I'm an adult, I'm in my 40s. Sometimes I go there and I'm shocked by what I see in that area. But she comes on the bus, she comes walking. She's maybe 5'6", 5'7", but she's committed. And I said, what's motivating you? She goes, I was a refugee. I know what it's like to be hungry. I know what it's like to be unwanted. I know what it's like to be misunderstood. And so she just told all those references, like, things that you take for granted, which is leaning against a chair or a wall. She says, I was in a tent, that we didn't have any place to lean on. And just these stories really, really, really touched me about her. And so anyways, what happened to her was she was just shopping with her mom. She was on the bus, I believe it was on Hastings Street. And then a woman just started to kind of verbally abuse her, and then jumped on her and started punching her. And I was like, just when I heard the story, I was heartbroken, because it's a traumatic thing for anybody, whatever age, 100%. That somebody just singles you out to target you because, and she wears a hijab as well, so racially motivated as well. So we did the requisite things, like we sent emails to the Premier's office, they responded, the Mayor's office, BPD, Transit Police, RCMP, hate crimes, everybody showed their support. Transit Police, Constable Shiraz Hanif came to give the personal, just be with the family in this difficult time. Yeah. But then the thought was, but what about solutions? One thing is to create awareness, but how do we protect somebody that's in that situation, to let them know how they can protect themselves? So if it does happen, God forbid, they know what to do and how to do it. And so Helena, who's one of our key volunteers at Muslim Care Center, when we talked about it, what do we do? Do you know anybody? And she goes, I know Wahiba. And then we thought, okay, well, let's do a self-defense kind of program, which we did here at the MAC Center. It was on Zoom, it wasn't recorded, and I think about 30 plus, and this is during the height of the COVID crisis, and it was met with great response. I think so much positivity, so much support for the program and the great work that you guys did. And then Wahiba said, you got to meet my director, Joe, from YBYG. Like, if you want to do more, like, talk to him. And then Yusuf and I met at your offices in Chinatown and had a very long discussion with Joe. Very, very amazing guy, and we're from the same neighborhood here. This is the neighborhood we grew up in. He's a bit older than me. He grew up down the street, I grew up down this way. So we knew a lot of the same kind of people, the same kind of upbringing. And it was great to meet him and get to hear his story. And then we went to formalize our organizational agreement between the Muslim Food Bank and Community Services, the Muslim Association of Canada, MAC Centre, and YBYG, a formal agreement of how we're going to work together, which resulted in this program, which is every Friday from 9:30 to 11:30, every Friday, where women from Vancouver can come and learn these important skills from Wahiba, and I think we did our third one this last Friday. So now, Wahiba, you had a story that you told me about what happened to you on transit. So I know it's a traumatic story, but please tell that story and then your background and then how you got into YBYG and then your mission going forward.
I'm just going to start off with my background first and then
Please,
slowly,
please. Of
get
course.
there. So I am Canadian. I was born here, but I was raised in Morocco. And you know, living in Morocco is kind of different. There are some stereotypes where a Muslim female should stay home and do certain activities, whereas a male should do other activities, which include outside of the house. And my father was totally against this idea. He was like, no, I want to educate my daughters. I want my daughters to grow up powerful. And so majority of my family is all females anyways. And my father told us, okay, I've done Taekwondo since I was younger, and it kind of empowered me to be who I am right now, and I want my daughters to be like me. I want them to feel confident. They can walk in the streets because the streets aren't dangerous. They're different, right? You can go down to the store and, you know, get whatever you want without, you know, being with someone or feeling that sense of discomfort. And so at the age of 5, I think 5 or 6, I was my first Taekwondo class, and so from there I built up the love of martial arts and the confidence from a very young age, and I was very fortunate to have a father like such who, you know, put me out there, put me out from my comfort zone to learn martial arts, to learn how to defend myself, whereas other people do not have maybe the equipment or the support that they need to be in such an environment. And so once I came back from Morocco, I kind of had a culture shock because I was raised, my entire childhood was raised in Morocco. And so the culture shock was very hard for me personally because I came at the age of, I think, 12 or 13. And I was very shy. I didn't like talking to anyone, although I was confident enough to defend myself. But there was also that fear that I had in me. And so I went up to my counselor, and my counselor was like, hey, you don't talk in school, you're not very active, this, that. What do you like to do? And I said, I like to do martial arts. Is there anywhere I can do martial arts? And she said, yes, there is. There is a program called YBYG Youth Initiative. It's after school every Friday. This is the timing. They have free food. And I was like, what type of food? And then she told me that granola bars, this and that. And sometimes, you know, and my favorite thing is eating pizza as well. So sometimes if we do good, we're treated with pizza, which is unhealthy, but you know, you can't do anything about it, right? And I was very, very interested in being my older sister. And so the first time I walk into Yobro and I see this guy, you know, white hair and very strong and very scary, Joe Calendino, and then I see all these participants, and all of them are, you know, very friendly, they're doing the work, and I see Joe, drop down and do 100 push-ups, and they're doing 100 push-ups, and some are tired, and he's going up close to people and screaming, you got this, you can do this, keep going on. And I was like, oh my god, what did I get myself into? But as I took off my shoes and I talked to Joe, and I was like, hey Joe, this is my history, and I really want to participate, and he knew I was shy. He saw in my eyes that there is a lion in me that still did not come out. And so he introduced me to the girls that are sitting beside me right now. Although they weren't instructors at the time, but they were awesome partners. I was there very shy, very timid. I didn't want to talk to anyone or do anything, although I knew some martial arts experience, but I wasn't confident enough because it was a new environment. And so Harneet and Zainab really gave me the big support, just as sisters. Even my English wasn't the best. Right now it's not the best either, but still
very good.
communicatable.
Still very good.
Yeah. So there was always Harneet and Zainab over there, and I would be stuck doing a move, or I would feel very unconfident, like, oh my god, I don't want to do this or that. But Zainab and Harneet's like, "Hey, you got this," especially when we're sparring with each other, and randomly Joe's like, okay, Wahiba and this girl, you guys are sparring in the middle, everyone is watching you, and I'm just there like, and Zainab and Harneet on the side, let's go Wahiba, you got this. And so just hearing their voice gave me more motivation to keep going on, and eventually I became very, very confident to a point that I started being an instructor, just shadowing other instructors, right? I never thought for once that I would actually have my own program, teaching my own self-defense classes, but look at me now. Because of the support and the sisterhood and, the family that I and the connections that I gained from the program, right now I started a new program with the girls that are sitting beside me, and it's been a success so far, alhamdulillah. Now, talking about how I was enlightened to start the program is a new different story. So, as you guys can tell, I am a hijabi, I wear a scarf, and so I remember I was coming back from training, and it was during winter time a couple of months ago, and so, at 4 or 5, it's already dark. It's still early in the day, but it's already dark, and I was coming back near Gateway area, and I was actually followed by this person, which I have no idea who this person was, and this person is saying slurs behind my back, but there's me, I'm like, okay.
Like anti-Muslim slurs?
Yes, anti-Muslim slurs, yes.
Like what would he say? Like, if
I prefer not to say the words,
but they were horrible.
They're not the best of words that you would want to listen to.
Got it.
Yeah, so I was walking, and all I hear is slurs and, bad words and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, Wahiba, don't freak out. Just walk, ignore. Because sometimes, when you ignore someone, eventually they walk away. But in my case, no. This person actually followed me. They put their hand on my shoulder, turned me around, and I got a big slap and a spit on my face. Why I did not respond, or and this person screams, "Why are you ignoring me? Who do you think you are?" A bunch of other slurs, and
it was a man.
It was a man. Being in that position, I was obviously very shocked, because although I'm very confident and I know what I'm doing, it was shocking for me. It was something new. It's like, why is this happening to me? A lot of thoughts were going through my mind, and so the first thing I did is, I don't know why, I don't know how, but I just stepped back, and all the lessons I remembered, like all the lessons I was training. At this point, I've been doing martial arts for, let's say, 14 years, almost 15, right? And so I stepped back, and throughout my entire history, I've never came across a certain situation where it's like someone is hating on me, or I feel unsafe, or I feel unconfident, right? And so I step back, and I'm looking at this person, and I can just tell from his stance that he's coming towards me, and he's being very aggressive, and these are things that I have learned throughout my martial arts career, and things that I have remembered. And so this person keeps coming to me, and I clearly warn the person, like, hey, please don't come, you're coming into my personal space, you're coming into my bubble, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to have any contact with you. This person did not listen to me, and out of the blue, they just came ahead and started attacking me. So the first thing that I did was actually I broke their pinkies.
Good work.
Now, how did I do that? I have no idea, because it's all muscle memory.
From your training.
All the training, all the muscle. Like, I built up this awesome muscle memory that if I was being attacked, I can automatically just do, a certain move where I break their pinkies, break their arm, choke them out. As violent as they sound, they do help and get you out.
But again,
situations.
how tall are you?
I'm 5'5".
5'5".
Yes.
And how tall was this person? How big was he?
I have no idea how tall he was, but he was big enough.
He was big enough.
Yeah, to look up.
So you know, obviously for whatever reason he thought you were a target, and he
missed
thought
with the wrong hijabi, that's for sure.
exactly. But you know, again, getting over the shock, because nobody's ever expecting, again, somebody to be persistent and verbal, and then starting to want to hurt you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were able to basically disable him and disarm him.
Yes.
So when you broke his pinkies, what happened then?
When I broke his pinkies, I called the police right away.
Yeah.
They arrived, and then right after that, I contacted I'm like, Dad, Coach. I contacted Joe, and Joe goes, good job, you did the right thing, you know. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, am I like gonna go to jail? What is gonna happen? But at the same time, I was like,
You defended yourself.
I defended myself. I was scared,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I felt very confident that, hey, you messed with the wrong person.
Yeah.
I'm not harmed, but I harmed you. So next time,
Yeah.
I hope this is like a lesson you learn.
Because the intent was he was gonna harm
Harm
you.
me,
He was
yes.
gonna harm you, and you were able to harm him back and defend yourself.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
Yeah.
You learned your training and the muscle memory. All of that training, all those hours and days that you put in, months and
The
years,
sweat and the tears all came.
for this
Right
moment
back.
to protect you.
Yes.
Which could have, if somebody didn't have your training, it could have
It could've
ended up
turned
much
out
worse.
horribly.
So I want to, just with respect to what you guys have done together with this type of environment of support and cheering each other on, and to learn these skills again. Hopefully you don't need them, but you have them.
Yeah.
And
And
the worst
it's always
case.
good to go back and remember.
So now you're here, and you're now a teacher. You were a student. You know, you've had an actual altercation in the real world, which was the worst case scenario. Now you're teaching others. Now you have students of different ages, different backgrounds. Let's talk about you now being a leader. Now you're a coach, you're a leader, and you have students that you have to care about, and you see each one's at a different level. Kind of, what is your strategy, and what have you learned to be a leader and a coach?
So 1 month after my incident happened, I was scrolling on Facebook, and I noticed the story, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And I read the story of one of your guys' volunteers being insulted, and I got very mad. I was like, why is this happening to us? You know, what are they trying to do? Why is it, you know, being all related to Islamophobia? And, you know, the list goes on. And so it was kind of a spark, an anger, a motive for you know, to do something. And that's when your wife actually contacted me. She's like, hey, can you please come to, you know, this organization? These sisters really need your help. You know, we want to do a workshop with you where you can teach the girls. And at this point, I used to teach co-ed classes. So I didn't teach only girls classes yet. And you know, co-ed classes, they were open to all races. We had all races, but it wasn't as special as, you know, starting up a new girls only program where you can actually, you know, okay, give me a minute. Where you can actually help the girls gain confidence and, you know, help them get out the tiger that they are, right? And so I went to that first workshop, and it was a success, and it gave me like a bigger motive and a bigger strength. And I go up to my coach, and I'm like, Joe, listen, I need to do a girls' self-defense only for Muslim women because this.
You championed it. You pushed it.
I pushed it through, and I said, you know, as much as it's awesome to have different cultures and you know, different backgrounds be on the mats, but you know, these certain of type of ladies are not getting the help they need, especially for people who are visibly Muslim, right? Like, if you see me on a SkyTrain, I represent Islam, you're gonna know that, hey, this sister is Muslim, you know, and, you know, so on, whatever hate I might get, right? And so I started pushing through, and I talked to my teammates, Irene, Zainab, and Harneet, and so we kind of came up with a structure, I guess you could say, and we presented it to Joe, and they agreed to help me out and be my coaches. And so from then, you know, obviously you contacted me, and we pushed through to create an organization. So far, it's been a success. You know, just me teaching and sharing my confidence and my stories and my skill, my 14 years of, you know, skills and sweat and tears. It brings me a lot of joy because I know that I'm making a difference for these girls, a difference that they maybe were not being accessible to. Like they didn't have access to, you know, certain things in their life, and now they have a program where they are provided with free food, and you know it's free. Majority of the times if you go to other gyms, you're gonna find a girls class only, but a male is always teaching that class. So what with our program, what's very rare about it is it's girls only, but females are teaching the class, and so that kind of gives us a step ahead, you could say. Upper hand. Yeah, thank you.
And you have something unique, which is again a gender sensitivity, a cultural sensitivity, a religious sensitivity, and especially at the moment the Muslim women that are wearing hijab are targeted. It's all across North America. The hate crime statistics, according to BC Hate Crimes and various studies that are being done on racism and Islamophobia, it's just going up, and
Yeah.
particularly against women that do wear hijab. So a unique program that you've helped develop focused on this vulnerable population, open for all women,
Yeah.
but with the cultural sensitivity around, again, there's from the countries that the women are from, the religious aspect, and then also the gender aspect, where it's a safe space only for women, no men, and to create that comfort and security that there's no judgment.
With that being said, I'm very grateful for MAC. They provided us an awesome space, very, very big.
Huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
huge. It's ginormous.
Yeah.
You know, and having being provided the mats from our donors was absolutely amazing, because it's a closed area, you know, and it's at a mosque as well,
Yeah.
a place of worship, right?
Yes.
And so just these girls walking through doors and, you know, being able to, you know, either work out with their scarves or take off their scarves, or, you know, just even doing whatever they want, talking about whatever they want. They know that whatever is said and whatever is done in these four walls is going to stay within these four walls. They feel a sense of comfort, a sense of belonging, a sense of family, you know. And although it's been only 2 classes so far, I can already tell that my students are being, you know, developing a very strong sisterhood, because when I come in and I see them talking and laughing and interacting with each other, it gives me a sense of joy. And I'm pretty sure Harneet can agree on this, because she's my partner in MAC. So it's just a ball of joy, I guess you could say, and I'm very thankful for that.
And we're thankful as well. And my daughter, who's 13, I think you paired her with a university
Yes.
age person, and my daughter felt that friendship with somebody who's much
Way
older.
older, yeah.
And she commented on that. And so again, thank you very much for the great work. And again, you mentioned your team, right? Because we can't do anything alone. And part of this work is everyone's working together as a team to create this good work. Now, Zainab, I've heard a lot about you. We haven't formally met, and we've always mentioned you as well. So please introduce yourself, how you got involved in YBYG, and your personal story, and then how it's really benefited your life and people that you've seen that have been through this process, how it's helped them.
So I was first introduced to Yo Girl Yo Girl when I was in grade 8. Mr. Calandino came to my school and did a presentation. And at the end of the presentation, he said, if you have any questions, come and speak with me after. And this was just before a lunch break. So we went, and my friend and I, we sat down with him, and he's like, okay, why do you want to talk to me? We're like, well, we want to know more about you. He's like, well, tell me about you. And we're like, why do you want to know about us? Like, he's like, no, tell me about you. Tell us about yourself. And we're sitting there, we look at each other, we're like, oh, well, we're little kids, like, what do we know? We don't know anything. And I was a little social butterfly. I was playing basketball and volleyball, and I tried to dabble with soccer, but I have no eye-foot coordination whatsoever, so that didn't work too well. But he told us about his actually at that time it was a girls program. It was just when they were starting up, and it was called Yo Girl. And at my school, it was up in a little square room. It was the cycle room, and we were up there, and promised me pizza after. So I was like, I mean, you know, we get some free food, might as well. And I started participating, and just meeting everybody that was there, it sparked a different type of confidence, because I was like, okay, I've been on teams, I've played on teams, I've been under pressure, but I haven't had to depend on myself. I haven't had somebody else, like, you know, when you're playing basketball, you have your teammates, you can pass the ball to somebody else, but in a real life situation, as unfortunately Wahiba's had this experience, you don't have somebody else to lean on, it's yourself. And it was a different experience, having to be there, and like I had people that I would practice with, but at the end of the day it came to me and what I was going to do. So the first question he asked me is, are you familiar with martial arts at all? Are you familiar?
A little bit, I am.
Do you know what a rear naked choke is?
I do not know what that is.
Okay, so it's like this, the head is here, and so I'm choked, say your head is here and I'm choking you.
Yeah.
He asked me how long do I think I need to be here before I pass out.
How long?
10 seconds.
I said, oh, 30 seconds. He looked at me, 30 seconds. I was like, yeah? 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. I was like, okay, and one of the female other mentors that he had said, okay, go put her in a rear naked choke. 5 seconds, I was already starting to see stars.
5 seconds.
Yes. I was like, when you do it more, you get more used to it, but as somebody who's never had somebody's arms around their neck, like, I had no clue.
Yeah.
5 seconds, I was like, whoa, and I was feeling lightheaded. He's like, no, 30 seconds. I was like, okay, like, I don't know. And it was that one little thing. It was like, you know, you think that you have time, but you don't, and it's being able to be realistic about situations that can occur. And what Wahiba was able to start, and like what we're able to now share with other people, is the expertise that we've been able to learn through our organization and going to tournaments and being, you know, in those situations, not when somebody's actually genuinely trying to harm us, but we've gone to competitions where we're competing against people that have similar techniques, know what they're doing, and we know what we're doing, and we go head to head. We've gone to multiple competitions. I think all three of us have competed for years, and we've met people from different parts of the world, and that have come to either Vancouver or different parts of the Lower Mainland, and we've gone head to head, and we've shown our own skills, but we've also been able to learn new skills from these people as we're working with them. You know, we might lose. I've been tapped out multiple times. People just, you know, they come in with that little bit more drive, but I'm not going to lie, Wahiba and Harneet have taught me multiple times, you know, and we learn from each other. We learn from the experiences we have with each other.
And you keep getting back up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's
Got the Muhammad Ali
exactly.
mentality.
Exactly. You know, it's just one result, but the next result could be a better
Yes.
result. So it's not like, you know, it's the end all. Oh, it didn't work out this time. You're trained to be like, okay, that didn't work. We're going to keep trying until it does work.
Mm-hmm. And you learn something from that experience too.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't work, but something they did work.
Yeah. And then you learned
Yes.
to win
Yes.
for the next one.
Exactly.
So speaking of winning, now you talked about how even your self-confidence, the self-esteem, and then even your studies, and congratulations on your scholarship and the great work that you've done. Talk about how it's impacted your life, your family life, your friends, and then also your personal life and your trajectory in your life.
So going back to playing sports, when I was in grade 9, I hit my head off the gym floor playing basketball. And for about a year, I was suffering from symptoms of a concussion. I was not really able to attend school. Bright lights were very hard for me. Looking at a projector was out of the question. So going to any class and looking at a projector and watching a teacher teach was very difficult. So I was having to do a lot of my studying at home. I wasn't really able to play on any of the teams because, you know, the running back and forth, the constant bouncing, it just was not happening. But when Joe and Yobro found out, they gave me other things to do. They gave me visual learning. So instead of practicing on the mat, we had access to Gracie University, which is a jiu-jitsu online, and we were learning, like I was just doing visual learning, and then I would watch my other teammates practice. Like I would just sit there and be stretching and watching them do the moves that I couldn't be doing. And then Joe would also give me modified workouts to do that wouldn't have me bouncing or jumping or moving my brain too much, and I was continuing to work out. Again, on my own, which was kind of difficult. Doing something on your own and not having to depend on other people. But then they were all there if I needed that support. And yeah, it was nice because it kind of, you know, when I felt like things were starting to crumble, because I was so used to having people.
You had a team to
I had
find
a
a way
team
for you
to-
to work with
yeah.
you in your unique situation.
Yeah. And that helped me realize that it's in you to, you know, like I think as humans it's like innate for us to like, you know, want to be with people, but like also have that, like she said, that inner tiger, that inner lion, and it's just different situations that can trigger it. And I think that while being able to work with my BYG and becoming a participant, then a volunteer, and now a facilitator, I have been able to, you know, see, I myself have worked through the ranks so I can help people, you know, get there themselves.
Learn from your experience so they
Yes.
don't have to take all that time to learn. You'll explain to
Mhm.
them, this is how I learn faster. You don't have
Yeah.
to make the same.
Yeah, and before I had my concussion, I was honestly wanting to go into engineering. I was focusing a lot on my school and just keeping the extracurriculars to, you know, resume. But after my concussion, my grades severely dropped. And I realized that having the support of others was very important, which drove me to take on a path of social work. So now with Yo Bro Yo Girl, I've also got the opportunity to do outreach work. So we work with youth within the community, either referred by a school district or a police department or another concerned adult. And we do one-on-one work with people that want to, like, with people that could potentially receive help. Irene has done a lot more of the work with that, so I'll let her touch on that more, as well as the no means no.
She's an expert.
Yes, she's actually our outreach supervisor.
Awesome. Well, Zainab, thank you very much. And just to close, Ryan Beatty, he gave a scholarship
Yes, I totally forgot about that. Sorry.
based on the work that you've done.
Yes.
So please talk about that, and then we will talk to Irene.
Yes. So again, this is because of Yoga. They're the ones that brought the opportunity to my attention. It was the first year, so I am a part of the first cohort of luminaries, as we're called, from BD Scholarship Group, and their main kind of, what's the word for, like, you know, when they're like looking for somebody?
Criteria?
Criteria, thank you. Their main criteria was to find somebody, to find youth within the community that could show resilience. And the fact that I was working with the organization and that I didn't allow for my little hiccup in life to completely throw me back, and I was able to kind of reroute and find a new path of where I was wanting to go. Alhamdulillah, I was able to receive one of 80 for that year.
Congratulations.
And
Good
that's
work.
$40,000 to go to whichever institution within the Lower Mainland or British Columbia, and pursue whatever kind of education I was wanting to. So I chose social work, and I'm attending Douglas College.
And part of your work together has made you look at, I'm passionate about this type of work.
Yes.
And so it helped make a decision for you in your career where engineering was initially a focus, but because of the organization, the family, and you understood, my heart's calling me towards this direction, and the BD scholarship recognized that resilience. And I think this is the key point, is resiliency with all of you going through personal challenges and being able to step back up, because a lot of people, they become a victim or they give up. Mm-hmm. And by having a team and a sisterhood to pick you up when you fall down and keep going. And I think this is what, from what I'm seeing on the outside, is really for youth development and human development. It takes a family, it takes a village, it takes everybody coming together to help each other.
And your willpower.
And your willpower. Thank you, very good, well said. So now, on to Irene. No means no, which is spelled K-N-O-W, no means no. One person we haven't mentioned is Joe's wife, Brenda. So Brenda came up with the YG component of Yo Bro, Yo Girl, and then also the no means no. So maybe, we haven't talked about Brenda, we've talked a lot about Joe, and Joe says she reads a book every day, and she's very, very
Yes.
intellectual
Yes.
person.
Yep.
Let's
Yes.
talk about Brenda, the vision behind No Means No, how you got involved in it, and your story and the impact of the work you guys are doing.
For sure. So basically the name, no means no, so K-N-O-W. So when you know something, when you learn these sort of components that I teach in this program, you will have that power to say no. You will understand that it's okay to say no to these things, contrary to what other people believe, what you see in the media, and things like that. So this is No Means No is a 5-week program for females only. We do have a co-ed one, but I have yet to teach that one, so I'm not going to speak to it. But basically, it's we have, like I said, 5 weeks. So week 1 is myths and facts about violence towards women, and I find that this one is actually one that really stands out for the girls that I have taught so far. They're always shocked to hear what is a myth and what is actually the truth. The statistics that I find and that I share with them actually are very shocking to myself as well when I first read them. And then week 2 is, what is week 2? Oh my gosh. Week 2 is gender stereotypes within media. So that one is also a big problem I find in the community, in terms of social media and girls trying to fit in, dressing a certain way, acting a certain way, saying certain things, and trying to fit in that way, but getting them to understand that it's okay to stand out and step out of your own comfort zone, be who you really are, be authentic. And then week 3, healthy relationships. So biggest one, I find that a lot of girls that I talk to and teach, they have a hard time creating those healthy boundaries. They let people step over them, or they step over boundaries themselves without realizing the impact that it has on other people. Not just themselves, but family members, friends, people like that. And then week 4 is environmental awareness. So how to stay safe in the community. I don't touch base on the physical martial arts components, but we do talk about ways that we can stay safe when they're walking home. So for example, walking in well-lit areas, having a buddy system, not listening to music with 2 earbuds in your ears or headphones or things like that, and just staying aware when you're walking home. And hopefully, things like something similar to maybe Wahiba store will never happen to them because they're aware, and they'll, maybe get on the phone and try and talk to somebody and figure things out that way so that they stay safe. And then week 5 is actually a self-defense component. But I'm probably either going to bring in one of these girls or someone with a martial arts background just to kind of help me out with that because I'm not too familiar.
And how did you get involved with YBYG? What's your personal, how did this work resonate with you, and how did you get involved?
So I started off as a practicum student in university. It's 2019, so I'm coming up on 2 years with this organization. And I had a classmate who used to work for this organization, and he did his practicum first, so he was saying all these great things. He was talking about Joe, talking about family. It was always about family, this big sense of family, a big sense of fitting in, belonging, and not even having to try. Like, people will just invite you to events, they'll talk to you like they've known you for years. It's very warm, very safe, very welcoming, and I was like, I was hooked when he told me that. And then I started off actually with outreach about a month into my practicum. And so that's one of my main priorities. So I'm an outreach supervisor currently, as well as a program facilitator, and that's what drives me to do the work that I do with this organization. I haven't been here for too long, contrary to these 3 lovely ladies over here, but no problem fitting in. I have no problem. It doesn't even feel like work, just because my drive to help and to make a difference, no matter how big or small, is so strong. I love it.
And you found your calling.
Yep.
So this is what I'm very impressed about is all of you, Harneet, Wahiba, Zainab, Irene, all of you, just the four of you. I'm sure there's many other women and girls that are part of the program, boys and men, and this kind of sense of belonging, the sense of again, brotherhood, sisterhood, and everyone is rooting for the other person to succeed.
Yes.
Everyone is there that, hey, I want to be better, I want to help you be better. So that's, again, kudos to Joe, Brenda, the team, all of you guys that and why we're passionate to do this, because Yusuf and I, we are passionate about this work. We want to really highlight this because people need to hear these stories, these personal stories. That's why we asked you these personal stories, which we believe will motivate others, Muslims, other people in the community, because at the end of the day, we are all Canadian. We love our country and we love fellow Canadians. To showcase the work where we're all working together, regardless of our background or ethnicity or religious beliefs, we're all in it together. And so with respect, that's our philosophy. The Canadian mosaic, I believe Yo Bro, Yo Girl does it much better than anything I've ever seen, and I wish I had that resource when I was growing up. So any other closing comments that we haven't addressed that maybe any of you would like to say that just for the audience, again, could be girls like you were when you guys were young people, what would be something that you would want others to know that we haven't discussed?
I want to touch a little bit on our program. If you go on our website and stuff, it's hard to kind of portray what we truly are, like we've talked about this before, but it's for someone who's looking into our organization, at first glance, it seems like it's an organization meant for at-risk youth. And I really want to highlight the fact that anybody could be potentially at risk of being at risk.
Of course.
So, and that goes for, I can speak on all of us, like on behalf of all of us, that we could have potentially been at risk, and we have this program, and that helped us become the people that we are today. And so our program's not just for those kids who are more vulnerable, or it's for everybody. I'm that person who I had a great family. Everything was kind of good. I had a little bit of sport, but this just kind of brought my changed my life drastically. Brought
For the better.
And that's a fair point. But you addressed at-risk folks that you guys may have met that have had issues, maybe domestic issues where maybe their home life is not the best, and they've had challenges in their home life, or challenges or trauma, something where maybe they've had addiction problems or gang problems. Maybe just talk about how this has helped, maybe as a preventative for addiction, a preventative about gangs, a preventative of negative kind of paths. If somebody would like to just address that, the at-risk component of some of the people that you've seen in the YBYG team, and how it's protected them from going down the wrong way.
I'm just going to speak about a story that I, just cooked to my head, but we actually had one of our first students being a very at-risk student, and she did not have any support whatsoever, and so she was actually kind of, forced to join our program by the principal, saying that, hey, if you don't join this program, you're going to be expelled.
Wow.
And the only reason why he said that is to encourage her to join. Otherwise, she'll say, yes, I'll join, but no, reality is she's out doing drugs and, being with the bad friend group. And so when she first joined, she was kind of, against the whole idea and mad, and she's always that type of person that would stay in the corner and stare at you, give you a death stare kind of look. Yeah. But eventually, because the moment that you join our program, the staff were so welcoming. I'm not just saying this because I'm part of the staff, but it's a fact that every single person of us is so welcoming and so knowledgeable, and just saying or talking, having conversation with that person automatically gives you a sense of comfort. We know what protocols are and how to, approach a person who's going through so much and giving them advice without being bossy and direct about it. We can do it
or judgmental.
Or judgmental, yes. We can, have a conversation with that person without being like, hey, I'm on top, like my life is perfect, this, your life is not, you have to, come
like me.
along to this lane. And so with her, it took a bit of time, but because we had such awesome support system and such awesome leaders in the program, and also the training that we are being provided by, whether it be mental health first aid or national coaching or, crisis intervention certificates, by us being educated about so many things, it really helped us grow as a team and, welcome people who are at risk and tell them, hey, it's fine, you will get over this, but I need you to meet me halfway. I need some effort from you. I need you to show me that you're going to change, and I will help you change. And so once you kind of build up a relationship with that student or, that person that joins your group, and there is a source of comfort, then eventually, slowly, baby steps, they turn into someone who's greater than what they have thought of prior. So
Amazing.
that's just from what I saw that, really impacted the students. And I'm sure all of us have similar stories, or if you guys want to add anything to what I have said, then.
Yeah, so I want
That's
to add the stability component that we provide, at least based off of my experience with outreach. So I've had a few of my girls tell me you're like one of the most regular adults in my life, right? I show up every week or when I can, and we do fun things together. We get to know each other. We deepen that bond and connection. And what I hope for them is, if they're not already open to change, is to one day be open to change, depending on where they want to go, whatever their journey may look like. We're not here to, force them down a certain path that we want them to walk down. We're here to walk that journey with them, and to make sure they're staying safe and, not getting into trouble, and ultimately just living a better life for them.
And I asked Joe this question, and I'm going to ask you guys this question, and I was shocked. I was like, Joe, how much does this cost? How much do people have to pay? How much do students have to pay to be part of it? So
$1 million trillion.
A lot. It's expensive.
It's completely free.
Wow.
And
amazing.
aside from being completely free, it's insane how many different opportunities we get. Like Zainab talked about her scholarship opportunity. I personally got Joe connected. Like, just Joe has so many connections. He connected. I wanted to do work experience. I was on the fence about. I wanted to learn more about accounting, so he connected me with his accounting team, accounting company, who used to do the accounting for all of Yobro, and I went and did 120 hours of work experience with them, and it was wonderful. Like, we get so many unique and just versatile opportunities that are just, you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else, and they're completely free. We used to compete at tournaments, like the three of us.
Yes.
We'd be consistently like
Expenses paid for.
and tournaments are kind of expensive,
And on top of that, you pay for our parents to come and watch.
Yes.
Wow.
And no matter how many spectators, no matter how many spectators we wanted to kind of come and watch us, you'd always be like, okay, give me a number of how many people from your family or how many friends from your side want to come, and I'll put the money down. And then me, I'm like 5. Harneet is like, okay, I'll bring like 3 or something. And
I
then
remember your parents.
Oh, my
They would pay at
parents.
almost every tournament, and they'd be in the front row.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and so, every week, maybe twice every week or more every week, there's always a competition, and the three of us are like, okay, we're competing. And we don't even compete in one category, we kind of try to do other categories to kind of, get the feel of whatever it is that we are competing in. And plus food after that, like he would pay for our team dinner. And our team dinner is not just 3 people, it's 25 people or so, and we pick whatever restaurant we want, whatever type of food we want, and he just pays it, and we just eat. Also transportation, he pays for our bus passes for people who can't drive. he just gives us bus passes or fills up our compass card, and he's like, you know, you're making an effort to come out and change your life. You're making an effort to be a better person, be at a better place. I'm gonna make the effort to help you achieve what it is that you want. And so he really, really helps us in so many ways that you can't imagine. You know, everything is free. No expense
so
whatsoever.
this is huge because again, you know, financial considerations or whatever, but just somebody who cares enough to think of these pieces. I want to make sure the parents have tickets. I want to make sure everyone has the food that they like, that they want to eat.
But before I forget to mention, he also has, I think if I'm correct, if I forgot. Yeah.
So it's kind of like other organizations, like especially during COVID, we actually we had funding, and we spoke with some of our schools, and we found out which families are more vulnerable and would require certain supplies, and we had a team that we had the funding, so we had a team go to Walmart and Superstore and buy these the things that these families would need, and then put them in packages,
And it wasn't just food, it was also gift cards.
Yeah,
So
food,
it's
yeah.
Amazon gift cards that are 100 something or you know, just gift cards that even if we don't know what type of groceries you get, you can just take the gift card and go
And get
buy
what you
whatever,
want.
to Walmart, Superstore,
you know, whatever you want. And so I remember my family personally was going through a very rough time, not necessarily this year, but a couple years back. And so when I first joined, you know, my father was going through a very rough time financially, and Joe actually supported my family by giving out gift cards. And it's been like, I think he gave us gift cards or whatnot for 2 months until we eventually solved our financial problems. And you know, alhamdulillah, because other programs won't, you know, consider anything. You come, you pay for the program, you train, and you leave.
And this is huge because there's one thing is you, but there's your family,
Yeah.
and then there's other things other than just your own individual thing. There's a whole thing that surrounds us. There's financial, there's you know, again, family. So all these things, I think YBYG does better than anybody else that I've seen. I've never seen a program like this where they take in account your whole situation to support you. And then just in terms of this, I know Social Venture Partners is one of the contributors, and there's a number of sponsors and donors. And just to illustrate, to give this service, because a lot of the work we do around addiction, racism, mental health, this is the solution from the beginning, from that young age, elementary school and high school, to give the resources, the family, the community, to prevent problems like addiction, racism, and mental health issues that come because people are so disconnected from each other. And then financially, I'm saying for myself, the call to action for me to kind of look at other resources, corporate sponsorships, organizations to support the good work, because at the end, it's an investment in our people, our society, our youth. And everyone talks about the youth, but I haven't seen many real solutions other than what you guys have told me. So with respect to all of you for telling your personal stories, to help motivate hopefully the next generation to be like, hey, I learned from Harneet, I learned from Wahiba, I learned from Zainab, I learned from Irene, their stories, it motivated me to be involved. So on a multi-level front, from my daughter, from my wife, my other daughter who's right now 4, to get them to be involved. So it's inspired me. At the very least, you guys have inspired me to do much more work to support the work you guys are doing. Yusuf, any closing comments on your end?
Well, I will tell you that specifically, Wahiba, the motivation and inspiration rather from your story and what you're doing, I 100% see the value in that, even for my own family. So for my wife, I believe it's an awesome thing to do, to have these skills, to have this knowledge, to have the ability to take care of yourself and help others, right? And I think it's never too late to start. It's the time to do it is now, I would say. And I'm really proud of you guys that you guys are taking your time to promote this, to work on it, to help others. It is a noble work you're doing, and kudos to everyone involved. Congratulations.
Thank you.
and thank you to MAC, the Muslim Association of Canada. Thank you to Muslim Food Bank and Community Services, the Muslim Care Center at Aspire, and Islam Unraveled.